Interphase Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, FairHope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.
Hi, and welcome to Fairfield Today. My name is Rick Schneider, community educator with FairHope Hospice and Palliative Care. We are the home of the Pickering House. In fact, we are right outside of the Pickering House as we record. And joining me today is FairHope CEO Denise Bauer. Denise, good to see you.
Always good to see you too, Rick.
And people might not realize that we have a mystery guest in between us now.
Mystery guest.
Yeah, a mystery guest. Would you want to introduce her for us?
Absolutely. So our mystery guest today is really no mystery. She's been with us for a long time, but we have Twylia Summers, and she is our volunteer manager. So welcome, Twylia.
Good morning. Thank you.
And,
Great to have you.
Yep, and this could be an interesting show because due to the COVID, we've had to make some concessions to our volunteer program, and I guess we made kind of a big concession, didn't we,
Yeah.
for the program?
Yeah, we did. Because of COVID, it was decided that it's best that we don't have any volunteers at this time because we don't want them to get sick, and so we love them so much that we want to take special care of them.
Mm-hmm. And Denise, they do have a little project they're working on, the Joy Cards. And what they're doing is, well, you could probably tell them better than I could. I'll fill in the blanks if you get
Okay,
stuck.
if I get stuck.
Yeah.
On July 5th, I was just sitting at home and I was just thinking about COVID and my volunteers. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we all sent out cards of joy and call them Joy Cards to maybe fellow volunteers, to the community people, to just anybody that's just feeling low because of COVID, and to just send them some joy. And I put out a call on July 5th, and the response was unbelievable.
That's our volunteers.
That is our volunteers. And as of now, we have sent out 259 Joy Cards.
And these just aren't for people on service.
Right.
You mentioned it could be anybody.
Yes, it's anybody. In fact, we had a volunteer. Her mom was in a facility and had COVID, but she's doing great. But she hadn't been able to see her mom for, like 6 months. And so she asked if we'd send out Joy Cards to her mom. And boy, like always, the volunteers came through and they sent them out.
Never fails. And Denise, it is kind of difficult not to have our volunteers here helping us.
Well, it is because really, as many of our viewers probably know, we have volunteers involved in every part of our organization. And I often tease, I know Paul's going to be on here in a little bit, but I often tease that I sometimes see the volunteers more than I do the staff. I think they're full-time here, But so it has been a huge void for us. Like they always man that front lobby for us so that, there's someone inviting without an agenda. When people walk in that door, they're just so welcoming. And, we've had to try to staff that, piece it together with people that already have jobs, our staff. And so that's been a challenge, really just trying to staff. And I'm like, I just would love to have the volunteers back, to help us with that. Because, it's huge to have someone sitting there, and now, of course, they're checking temperatures and they're, checking the CDC guidelines to make sure that our visitors are following all that when they check them in. So there's, that task at hand. But, it's, when I look at the organization, it's throughout the organization that our volunteers are involved in. It's a huge void for us.
And regretfully, there's several of the programs that we've had to stop, and No One Dies Alone, and visiting the people on service where they live.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the fundraisers.
Yeah.
Our Trash to Treasure was canceled, and
Right.
that was interesting in that what people don't realize on so many long distance events, whether it's Trash to Treasure or the county fair or whatever it is, way in advance things have to start in progress. So we have quite a lot of Trash to Treasure trash.
Yeah,
Treasures. Treasures, Rick.
Next year there'll be treasures, okay? And that's the same with our annual cookie walk. We're not going to be able to do that either, but maybe it's just going to make us appreciate it more next year when we have it. And I think since the volunteers haven't been here, I think it's really opened, I know it's opened my eyes, and I've heard several people say this, boy, I didn't realize how much they do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I mean, I think anytime there's a need,
they
in
were
the
there.
organization, we say, what if a volunteer could help us, or wonder who we could get to help us. Let's call Twylia and see if we can get a volunteer to help, you know,
Yeah.
like every part of the organization. So it's been really difficult. And, you know, with hospice, I know we've talked about this before, but, you know, 5% of the care have to be volunteer hours. Now, the federal government has waived that. Medicare has waived that
Right.
requirement for us at this time. But that shows you, you know, especially even with patient care, how important it is. So, but yeah, there's just a lot of things that they perform at the office at the Pickering House that we just have to fill it in with our staff right now.
Well, you know, I have employees come up to me all the time, and they miss the volunteers, not just because of what
Right.
they can come in and do for us, but they miss them. They miss seeing their smiles. They miss seeing, you know, they're joyful. They've come to help. And so many of them have said that to me, that they miss them. And of course, I miss them too, because I get to work closely with them. So it's been hard.
Especially like at the Pickering House, sometimes there'll be a person staying at the Pickering House might be restless, might want to talk, might just need some companionship, and the volunteers at that time, when we have a volunteer program, can come in and sit, can talk to them. And a lot of times the volunteers might have a special interest, like maybe a veteran's on service at the Pickering House, and a veteran volunteer can come in and they can talk shop about the military or crafts or whatever it is.
Well, we've had volunteers, play cards and you know, just activities, things like that, just to, you know, be with people, or just to be present and sit with people.
Just to be and to feed people, you know, they can, you know, they get to feed people. We honor veterans. We usually have a lot of volunteers involved in that, and this year, you know, so far we haven't been able to do that. So, like Denise said, every aspect that we do, other than the actual stuff that an aide and a nurse does, they're involved in all of it. Even our outdoors, as you can see, we have volunteers that take care of the plants, and so they're everywhere. They're needed absolutely everywhere.
Well,
Absolutely.
we are 6 feet from the cameras, speaking of being outside, so everybody can relax in that respect.
Yeah, we have our little masks with us that we, you know,
Yes, we
have
got
our
them.
little masks, but, you know, when we're outside, you know, just for this, we're distancing.
I'm hoping this
but
goes with
we
my,
really wear them throughout
jacket.
the Pickering House all the time.
And we get our temperatures taken every morning. So, you know, personally, I tell people I feel so safe at the Pickering House, safer than I do out in the community, because we're always sanitizing and cleaning and taking temperatures, that I just feel so safe here.
And, you know, with the visiting schedule, I know so many medical facilities have mostly canceled or very restrictive to their visiting policy. We as well allow only 2 visitors at a time, and we don't allow any waiting in the lobby. They have to go outside. So we've done as much as we can in that respect.
Yeah, and I'm really proud that, you know, we know with end-of-life care how important it is to have, you know, that family or friends close by. And so we've been very proud that we've been able to maintain visitation throughout this COVID pandemic. And we've allowed 2 people at a time, and actually families can rotate, so it's not limited to just 2 a day. They can have multiple people during the day. It's just 2 at a time. And I think we've talked before, I know we've talked before, Rick, about, you know, when we have larger groups, we've been able to accommodate them outside. And, you know, we haven't allowed the younger children in, but we can have them outside. So as long as people utilize the CDC guidelines and are safe about it, we feel like, you know, whatever we can do to accommodate families and these patients is really important to us. You know, that comfort care, it continues.
Well, it's, you know, we're famous for saying we'll see what we can do.
Right.
And in this situation, we've been allowed, but what we do is take the bed outside. So the person on service can be out on the back patio with their family. They're maintaining the distance, but then they can have more than 2 people at that time being outside. And that's just a wonderful thing we've done. I don't know how many compliments. You know, part of the problem is that somebody's coming in from out of state or from Cleveland or someplace, and we can't get a hold of them to say we're going to have to restrict visiting. When they all come in, we have to jockey things around, but there's always something we can do.
Right.
We always adapt to it.
You know, I've been working out at the front desk to help out, and so I get to see kind of what the volunteers see, people coming in. But one of the biggest thing that I see is the families coming in so grateful that they can go back and see their loved ones. And the ones with the big families, they are getting so good. They'll just, go in and tap one and the other one comes out. And they have just really adapted to that. And I think it's because they're so grateful that they have a place where they can be with their loved one.
Well, and the nice thing when people volunteer on a regular basis, like if they do it 2 days in a row or 3, then the volunteer, or even when we have the program going, they get to know the visitors coming in, and they can help them right through and know the room numbers, and it's just one of those little touches. And like you said, the volunteers don't have an agenda, so they're very flexible when talking to the visitors or talking to people at the Pickering, the staff.
Yeah.
So not that long ago, we had a patient that was actually able to get around with a scooter.
Yeah.
And so that patient was able to go down to the waterfall in the shelter, and it was just so nice to see that life and, someone that was enjoying this facility in the midst of all this, I mean, we had to make sure he didn't get on Sells Road, that was the concern. I was like, we don't want to
Put a helmet on him.
Yeah, but it was just nice that we had, a patient that was actually able to get out and about and enjoy, this beautiful surrounding, this area.
And, I got to talk to him personally. And he was so grateful, like, he's toward the end of his life and he is able to have this beauty all around him. And so he would smile a lot knowing he was going to go outside and ride around.
Well, and that's one of the nice things about the Pickering house is that we have one sidewalk that just loops around the building so people can go outside, see the trees, and they're always within 20 feet of the building. So there's always, they can quickly return. So, well, tell you what, we're going to probably have to wrap up this first half of the show.
Okay.
Twylia, it's been awful nice to have you on.
Yeah, I love being the mystery guest. It's always a mystery.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next mystery guest that's coming on.
Yeah, we have a little silhouette with a question mark, so we don't even know who it is. But, Twylia is volunteer manager, and I do some volunteering in the evening as well, so I'm interviewing my boss both bosses.
Both bosses.
I'm a little nervous here. But,
and if you can imagine how hard that is.
Yes,
how hard that job is for us.
Yes,
yeah.
But Denise, I think it's a pretty good first half. We learned a lot about the volunteer program and regretfully the restrictions.
Yeah.
But it is coming back, and if anybody is interested in becoming a volunteer, what should they do?
Just give me a call up here at the Pickering House. In fact, I've got 2 people that have gotten a hold of me and said, I'd like to volunteer when this is all over. So, we can get you on the list, and but just call up here at the Pickering House at
740-654-7077 or on the internet at www.fairhope.org. Denise,
FairHopeHospice.org too.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah.
That's why she's the boss.
Well, it's not like we use it. You're using that all the time, but so it's nice that we have that, and actually we have some new testimonials from actually some of the volunteers. So that would be a nice thing if you want to kind of get it caught up to kind of sign on to that and look at those.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first half. We're going to be right back.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. The employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Hi, and welcome back. My name is Rick Schneider, FairHope Hospice and Palliative Care. I'm a community educator for FairHope. We are the home of the Pickering House. In fact, we are recording outside of the Pickering House. And Denise, we had a pretty good first half. We have another mystery guest, so this is an exciting show.
This has been quite a show today, mystery guests. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's good.
So you're going to have to kind of break the mystery now. Would you care to introduce our new?
I would love to introduce our guest. So our guest today is Paul Darfus, and he is a volunteer with FairHope and has been with us quite a long time. And when I was talking on the first part of the program about those people that you see almost every day and you think they're part of your staff almost, in fact, you see them more than staff. Paul is an example of that. So he's been helping us for a long time and he's been very missed over the last few months.
Absolutely. In fact, just to give everybody, we're going to line up the staff so they can walk by and have a reception line. And
yeah, they would like that. A little drive-by here.
Yeah, people haven't seen Paul in quite a while. I guess, Paul, what got you to become a volunteer? Was there any kind of background?
Well, years ago when I first started here, coming here, count my mother. She was out here and passed away July the 7th of 2007. And I'll tell you, what they done for my parents and my mother, I said there's no doubt I wanted to come and help. And there's great people to be around, and it was a place where you can feel great, relaxed when your loved ones are in here. So it's a wonderful feeling. They treat you just like gold, you might as well say. So I'm so tickled they put up with us, and I get to do the things we get to do here. I do we'll say not everything, no, but I do as much as possible and try to keep busy. And so I really enjoy doing my work because you're helping people. If I can't help, then there's something wrong. I want to know why, because that's my goal, is helping people.
Well, Denise, there goes our commercial. If you got that on tape, we can.
Yeah, there you go. And
Is that too much?
He does do a good job helping people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, well, thank you.
He helps me some days. He helps all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about the volunteers, in that some volunteers can focus on one area, whether it's the fundraisers or we make lap blankets. Some people do those kind of things, and other people are kind of what do we do? Call Paul kind of people. When we have some of those situations that are off to the side and we don't know where to turn. Paul, if he's available, will always say yes.
Well, I try, and I'll tell you, like I say, it's just a wonderful feeling when you're helping. So, yeah, we make blankets, have them cut, and we tie them, have them all made up for the patrons that are here. And then we like Denise, and you were talking earlier, my wife, she makes cards. She has made cards and still making a bunch of cards. And she makes bows at Christmas time, put on packages. She makes bunches of them. So it's not only me, it's her and I work together with the the family. Right here's the family.
Yeah, it's
There's
family.
no other way about it. So
You know, when he's
very tickled.
talking about his wife Gwen, Denise, you know, he mentioned that there's no patient contact.
No.
And that's, you know, people sometimes are worried about volunteering here, and that I don't know if I could be close to that type of situation. You don't have to be.
No.
And I know, you know, they have been involved with patients, but there are many volunteers that are not. So,
Right.
and that's okay. There's always something to do. Paul will find a job for you, right?
That's right.
But, you know, the other thing is I think about it as we're talking, you know, really, you know, you guys help us with decorating. You help us with every fundraiser.
Yeah.
You help us in the parade. So life has really changed a lot in the last 6 months, hasn't it?
It really has.
We're going to try to get to do what we can do.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking forward to.
And I'm going to miss out on a lot of this stuff this year, Christmas parade and all that. But we're going to decorate. I don't care what
We're
they
gonna
can
figure it
say.
out.
We're going to figure something
We
out.
will figure it out.
Yeah, that's what we ought to do is just decorate it and then just go down Columbus Street and Main and back up, and there you go. Do them one at a time. You have to stop the red lights this time, but
Oh, I do?
yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to be a volunteer, be a parade volunteer.
Yeah.
That's good work if you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that's one of the things that Paul. In fact, we have when you talk about working with our staff, we have what's called Education Day,
Right.
and you involved with that.
Right. And the staff is coming up here next month, and we're going to have the car check that day, and I'll be in on it too. And so as they come in, we check cars from front to back, to top to bottom, you might as well say. Same thing as the State Patrol have.
You watch them.
So, well, that's coming up.
Well, and that Education Day is an important day for us because we actually do proficiency testing of all of our staff to make sure that, you know, they're up to date and things like that. So they take written tests. They have practice stations where they may have a skill that they have to be observed performing, something that they would do with patients. So that's a day for all of our staff to be tested. And we try to make it as fun as we can so people aren't stressed out about it. But, you know, there's a lot of education provided as well because, you know, some people are just like maybe out in the homes and they don't maybe know what's going on in certain areas of the Pickering House or grief services. So it's a day for us to kind of all be connected, and we're going to have to space people out a little bit this year, but we will. But anyway, so the first task we're going to have our volunteers perform since this COVID pandemic started was outside car checks. So Paul is so happy about that.
Yes.
So he's been wanting to volunteer, so we thought, hey, if we're doing outside car checks and we have our, you know, our mask and we're, you know, doing everything the right way, I think it'll work out great. So we're excited to have him back in October to help us with that.
Well, I think you're tickled to be here to do that.
It's like we can't have an Education Day without cars
It
checked.
wouldn't be. It wouldn't.
I mean,
be.
I think I had a brake light
No.
out once. I didn't even know it, and this was like probably 10, 15 years ago, and you know, those volunteers told me about it. You know, you don't know if you don't
You know,
have it in your car.
I got a feeling we're going to have enough volunteers where Paul could do the left headlight, somebody else will do the right one.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a tire, you know, because everybody wants to come back and help.
Well, we do try to. We work together, like I say, like everything else. We usually have 4 of us out here to check cars. We'll have 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Mm-hmm.
One of us, like you say, one of us will check the headlights or turn signals or whatever it may be. The rear one be the tail lights and license plate lights and their date expiration dates. So we like I say, we checked everything we supposed to. So, and we do enjoy our job. And for Denise and Rick, we couldn't do all this. So this is a good, happy job. So look forward to it.
And we also do that for the volunteers as well.
Well, you really do, yeah.
We have an Education Day to kind of
For
refresh.
our volunteers, yes.
Right, yeah.
Yes, we do.
But, you know, I like what Denise said. It's an Education Day, but we make it fun. You know, we don't have jugglers, but we still try to liven things up a little bit because
Right.
at FairHope we celebrate life and we learn how to enjoy life, and we respect the situation, of course.
Exactly.
But if you want to have some fun, come out to FairHope.
Come out to FairHope. We'll make fun out of it.
Yeah, it is a good thing, and I guess you're ready to come back to full-time volunteering.
Oh, I'm ready anytime. Let's get rid of this virus and let's go to work.
Yeah, there you go. Let's get rid of the virus and go to work.
That's right.
Yeah, and I guess with Paul, it's almost full-time because you're out here almost every day, I guess.
I'm out here a good bit on and off.
Well, and then you shred papers.
I shred papers, so I did retire here a few months ago, but not here, and I'm tickled to death now. I can even spend more time if they want me. Why, I'll be right here to jump right on whatever they want. Tickled to death to be here.
Well, you said you have got all the projects at home done, so
I got all the
Gwen's
things.
like, we
done.
better find something for him to do, right?
Yeah, it was getting bored, I'll tell you, monotonous. So, but come up here and first thing you do, I get a smile on my face. I see the happy people here. Boy, what more could you ask for? Okay.
Well, and we have probably, I forgot to ask Twylia, is how many volunteers? Probably 120, 130 plus or minus.
Right.
So everybody's welcome, and we do have volunteers like Paul who might just come out and see if we need help, and many times there's a need for just somebody to visit somebody in
Well,
the
we've
Pickering
had volunteers just stop in, the Pickering house when they've got time just to see if there's something that needs done, you know, and, they may spend some time with one of the patients or, the family members, and there's all kinds of things.
Yep.
I just come up and pet Chester, our cat. I mean,
somebody's got to do it.
make sure that everything's taken care of for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. He does have, the litter box, and good luck on trying to find something he likes to eat. So I'm surprised he doesn't ask us to warm it up just a little bit.
Yeah, well, he probably could, and we would do it.
Yeah, some parsley on the side, but he's a volunteer as well, and he does quite a lot of work for us. He's always there when we need him, and he's not there when we don't need him. He's just got that instinct.
Yeah.
Right, he's a good cat.
So this is going to be a weird Christmas, isn't it, without the cookie walk?
Yes, it will be. Like I say, I'll miss that, and the Christmas parade and all that. It's going to seem so different. I can't believe anything can change so quickly and be as the way it is now. So
yeah,
I wish we could change it back as quick as it came. I'd really be tickling everybody else.
Well, I know that Dr. Varney and Dr. Andrew Dag Murray, both of them are, very involved with, keeping up on the latest statistics and that kind of thing. And, I think Dr. Andrew Dag Murray, we have a weekly COVID call where we do a conference call for all the staff to be involved every week with an update. And Dr. Murray had said that, really the numbers were down a little bit at the hospital. And then, of course, Dr. Varney was able to report this week about the numbers down in the county and stuff, in the surrounding areas, because we service, all the surrounding areas. So that's promising. We're going to keep our fingers crossed and, get our volunteers back to help us and our patients and family as soon as we can. So we love all you volunteers that are watching.
Absolutely. And one of those things I just happened to think about, the county fair, if you want to volunteer, you get free passes, and to stay at our booth is just incredible to listen to the people come up and talk about their experiences, and the volunteers get to hear that.
Yeah.
We try to relay as much as we can to the staff to let them know what they're doing.
Right.
And that's one of the nice things about the county fair. If somebody doesn't know how to say or who to say thank you to at the county fair, there you are. They come up and say thanks, and they talk about what's happened, how we helped them, and sometimes it's years in the past.
Yeah.
And they haven't forgotten it. Well, I'll tell you, it looks like our time's up already. Kids, Paul, we're going to have you on for the whole show one of these days.
Okay.
We don't have to pay you, do you? Oh, you're a volunteer.
That's volunteer.
Yeah.
We don't want paid. We just want good part of it.
Just want to help out.
Right.
And, I admire you. It's just you're a good volunteer.
Well, thank you.
Glad to have
Thank
you
you
on.
too, Denise.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you all. And thanks Twylia too for putting up with me. She got her hands full.
Oh, yeah. That's why we got her here. She's
back there.
She's your handler. She's ready in case you get
She's
out
our
of control.
studio audience today.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
We tell her when to laugh. Well, Denise, looks like we're going to have to wrap up this show.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Just like to remind everybody, thank you for watching, and remember, celebrate life.
Interphase Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, FairHope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.